So, in a Netflix documentary titled Andrew's Olive Tree, Andrew is just an owner of a restaurant who was retiring. And on his final day at the restaurant, his mentor visited, and whilst they were having the conversation, the mentor asked, "What is your most challenging job in managing a restaurant?" And Andrew replied, "The most difficult aspect of my job is managing the younger generation." He said, "It is increasingly becoming difficult to work with the younger generation." Now, that aside, few months ago, I was in the office of Madam Hannah Atiase, the CEO of eWells Realty and Consultancy, and in her interview, which is posted on this platform, I have shared it in the description below. In the interview, Madam Hannah Atiase also stated that it is increasingly becoming very difficult to work with the younger generation, stating that the sense of entitlement and lack of responsibility is just amazing. Today, there is a revelation that says that 1 out of every 6 companies, I repeat, 1 out of every 6 companies do not want to hire a Gen Z. And who are Gen Zs? These are the younger generations whose elders among them will be getting 27 this year. There's been a lot of accusations around them. And some time ago, if you've been following DTCOfficialGh.com, I shared an article about how Gen Zs can uplift and adapt and act in a disciplined manner towards their future. Few months down the line, here is the video we are coming to digest. Stay tuned. Let me remind you to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and make sure you leave a comment in the comment section below, because I want to know what you think in the comment section below. Even if it is a way you want me to do this video, in fact, no man is an island. Just leave a comment in the comment section below, like this video, and subscribe. Now, let's go into the video.
Anti-hustle. Have you heard of this term? Apparently, it is becoming quite popular. It is used to describe certain jobs where you can work when you like, from where you like, and mostly how you like. So you can do your bit and call it a day. This is an anti-hustle work life, and it has become the war cry of younger workers, the Gen Z, those born between 1997 and 2012. That's the Gen Z. With its oldest members turning 27 years old, this generation makes up a significant chunk of the workforce. But this so-called anti-hustle mode has also earned them quite the reputation. No points for guessing. It's not a good one. Gen Z is widely considered an employer's nightmare, and survey after survey shows this. A new one is out. It says that 1 in 6 companies do not want to hire Gen Z. They say Gen Z is entitled, easily offended, unable to handle feedback, lacking in motivation, professionalism, strong work ethic, and communication skills. That's quite the list. It makes you think, what doesn't Gen Z lack? Apparently.
Now, my interest here is the fact that all these attributes, I am a millennial, and few years ago, all these inefficiencies, lack of work ethic, whatever, was attributed to millennials. So it looks like every generation seeks to blame the generation that comes after them. But that is not the case of the Gen Zs. Let's move on.
The ability to make things worse. Over the past few years, the young haven't helped their case by making up these work trends: quiet quitting, lazy jobs, mouse jiggling, where you only pretend to work by moving your computer mouse, that's mouse jiggling apparently, or conscious unbossing, meaning consciously choosing not to be a boss or a manager. 69% Gen Z say they do not want to be middle managers because it's too high stress and low reward. I don't want to question the obvious lack of logic here, Maybe there is a secret sauce to jumping from intern to CEO. Maybe TikTok holds the answers. Who knows? But the fact remains, the young are not seen as great employees. Nearly half of the hiring managers find Gen Z the most challenging generation to work with. This is not to say that all of Gen Z is a personality hire or someone who is hired for their so-called vibes. That's a personality hire apparently. Instead of their skills, they're hired for their vibes. There are a lot of factors at play here. For starters, the current workforce is not ready for Gen Z.
The current workforce is not ready for Gen Zs because we are in a generation that says soft life is all they care about. And that is where they born the term anti-hustle. And anti-hustle means just living life in your own terms without being able to carry out any huge responsibilities. That is why Gen Zs are saying that they do not want to be middle managers because they think being a middle manager comes with a huge responsibility but low reward. And Gen Zs are not in for the responsibilities, but they are in for the rewards. Now, I'm a millennial. What I can say about us is the fact that we are in for the responsibilities, but once the responsibilities come, we expect our rewards and we are entitled to it. And that is where our entitlement comes in. Let's move on.
Let me give you some examples. Most young workers want time flexibility. A quarter of them say that their productivity peaks at night. So they want to work at night. But in this world of 9 to 5, that's not going to fly. Take, for instance, job hopping. Young workers are willing to change their careers 3 times. Careers, not jobs. 3 times in their lifetime. But for traditional employers, this is a red flag. Plus, there is generational friction. Every generation thinks that the young are worse than them. And this is only normal. Research proves this, and so do headlines. Until a decade ago, do you know what they were saying about millennials? They're bad employees, they lack work ethic, they're lazy, they're entitled. So circle of life and everything. But intellectualizing aside, my point is quite simple. Companies may not want to hire Gen Z, but they will have to sooner or later because they are the future of work.
To move on, if you are an entrepreneur, if you are an employer, this is a fact you must be ready to deal with. That Gen Zs in the next 2-3 years are going to make up to half of the entire workforce because they are the ones coming. Millennials, we are already in the workforce and we are about zooming out. This means that companies and employees must be ready to invest in the character and the building of our Gen Zs, our younger generation. If you're a company and you are not ready to invest to help them adapt, then it means that you are setting up yourself out of business.
In fact, by next year, Gen Z will form a quarter of the global workforce. So unless the older generation is planning a coup, they will have to focus on solutions like better training or adaptability. Gen Z has a lot of work to do as well. Historically speaking, this is the most privileged generation. They grew up with the internet, with technology. For them, all kinds of resources are one click away. So about time that they check their privilege. The fact that they can afford to quiet quit or afford to get lazy jobs is because of the workforce that came before them. So insulation, apathy, or unrealistic self-assurance is not going to cut it in the real world. Experiences. Because it is good to be passionate about change, but Rome was not built in a day. So if you have any ambition, no matter which generation you belong to, you will have to do the time.
No matter which generation you belong to, you will have to do the time. And this is an alarm or a warning or a caution to every Gen Z that, in fact, it is good to believe that work can be done without hustle. It is perfectly fine, but it will be better that you do away with the mentality called anti-hustle. You do away with the mentality called less responsibility but more soft life. Because if you want a soft life, you must be ready to take care of your responsibilities now and put a soft life ahead of you in the future when you have established. Now, to my employers and employees, employers and companies, this is a fact you can never do away with. It is for a fact that Gen Zs are going to make up to a quarter of the entire workforce next year. And within the next 5 years, they are not just going to make up to a quarter, they are going to make up to about half or more the entire workforce. And this comes into training and facilitation, training them to adapt to the 9 to 5, training them to adapt to discipline, training them to adapt to responsibilities, such that in the near future to come, when we the millennials are zooming out of the workforce, Gen Zs will be ready to pick up the responsibilities that will be left behind. But let me remind you that we left a link. I have left a link in the description below about how Gen Zs can upgrade themselves and make a better use of their lives. Because nobody is going to live the life for them. We, our parents, when they born the Gen Zs, they told them they are kings, they are queens. They told them they can be whatever they want to be. We weren't told that. And so it has gotten into their head. I don't know, unless they try to find a way to ensure that they are able to move from intern to a CEO within the shortest possible medium, which I doubt can happen, because they must go through the process. And we must prepare them to go through the process. Thank you very much. This has been DTC Official GH. Let me remind you that there is always more to read on dtcofficialgh.com. We have scholarship opportunities, we have business news, tech news, politics, and many other more. My name has been Amin Mohammed. Kindly subscribe to this channel, like this video, and yes, no man is an island. I want to know what you think in the comment section below. If you've got any interest, if you've got any idea on how you think I can improve on my content, kindly leave a comment in the comment section below. Catch you in another episode, and don't forget to watch the video of the man building the African Silicon Valley right here on DTC Official GH. Stay tuned.